Welcome back once again to Primetime Local News, and Josh and Buck to talk some sports. On the pro side of things, it was also a very eventful weekend. One of the happiest moments of my sports fan life yesterday as the Toronto Raptors finally.
So is that the greatest moment in Raptors history?
I think it's.
Or is there another
question.
moment to come? You hope.
I mean, you'd hope there's another moment to come, but it has automatically become the greatest Raptors moment, and a lot of people are saying the greatest, basketball moment in Canadian basketball.
You got to think so. It was like a movie script. You ever seen Hoosiers with Hackman?
Oh, many times.
You're waiting
Many
for Gene
times.
Hackman to be jumping up and down the sidelines because it had everything to it, and to bounce in the net, and it was just like everybody paused for about a second, and you're like, and then boom, and then when it goes in, just unbelievable. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I sat there and I watched throughout the game, and then watched at the end. And I had to rewind it a few times, and it just an incredible moment. And I think it's one of those moments that I think a lot of Canadians are going to remember where they were when that was hit. And one of the criticisms for Kawhi, who hit the shot, that he doesn't show emotion. You know, in San Antonio, he doesn't. Like he makes these great shots, and
very robotic.
Yeah,
and
everybody's excited, and he's like. He wasn't quite like that. Even him was over the top, and he was jumping up and down. So you hope now, Milwaukee's very good. You're hoping now this kind of gives them what they want against Milwaukee, and it's going to be a tough series against the Bucks.
It certainly will, with the Greek Freak on the other side. Again, I hope that goes as well as this did, but like you, I had to rewind a few times. There's a couple of great videos. If you go to sportsnet.ca, I believe they'll have a compilation of all the different angles, as well as a couple of close-ups from the pictures, which are certainly enjoyable to see. We have to jump to hockey, of course, because we're into the conference finals, as is basketball now after Sunday, where you had the Blazers also advance. Early thoughts for you, especially, I guess, after watching the St. Louis-San Jose game the other day?
You know what? Right now, you look at San Jose, they look so stronger, bigger, almost faster than St. Louis. And San Jose looks like they're going to be tough for St. Louis to beat. And the same can be said against Boston, against Carolina. Is a glass slipper finally falling off from the Hurricanes? Boston looks like at a different level than the Hurricanes right now. And the same can be said about San Jose. And San Jose's defense is so deep and so good. And Martin Jones has finally figured it out. So it's going to be the Sharks and Bruins.
Sharks and Bruins, to the dismay of many people who have been rooting against Brad Marchand, who got a lot more material to help them root against him as of this past weekend. Yeah,
another cheap shot against Williams, and then his antics on the ice and doing that on his sweater, and just immaturity. And just a kid that you wanted kind of, if he's 15 or 16, he's doing that, and you want to just hit him in the side of the head, smarten up. But he isn't. You know what? And here's one for you. If they go to the Cup final, the Bruins, and they win it, and he goes out of his mind, he scores 10 goals, does he win the Conn Smythe? Like, how do you vote for him?
To my regret, I would have to say yes, he would win the Conn Smythe. I'm not rooting for that.
And does Kyle do the interview?
Yeah. It's
and the interview that he did with Kyle, and then he goes in the dressing room afterwards, and in a scrum, he acts like a jerk.
Yeah.
And the reporters are giggling about it. Like, look at each other, and I was in that situation a few times before. Look at each other and go, why are we giving this guy the time of day? If you want to grow up and get out of high school, Brad, let us know, and then we'll come back. But until you mature, forget about it. Don't give the guy the time of day.
And for those of you who think that the reporter was a greenhorn, he's actually been in the business for quite a while. Yeah. So that particular criticism.
Yeah, and Kyle's hair does not move. Like, that hair does not move.
I mean, he comes from a great line of Sportsnet reporters that have managed to avoid the Tim McAuliffe treatment. Now, very quickly before we go, what's coming up on the Sportsnet show, the sports show tomorrow?
Yeah, we have TJ Lloyd, of course, the Canadian Junior A Defenseman of the Year. Also, Ryan Papiano, the head coach of the Brooks Bandits, is there hosting the RBC Cup. They're off to a 2-0 start there. We'll talk WHL League Final with Trevor Redden. And Scott Hartnell, Lloydminster's own Scott Hartnell, part of the NHL Network now. So he's trimmed up and everything, and he looks not like the big...
Hopefully not too trim.
No, but he looks presentable, let's just say that. Okay. They'll be on the Tuesday Night Sports Show live from the Canadian Brew House.
Looking forward to hearing that, and looking forward to the rest of the cast here on Primetime Local News.